We have all been there. You wake up in the middle of the night, half asleep, walking barefoot to the kitchen for a glass of water, and then, squish, you step in something wet, warm, and distinctly smelly. Congratulations! Your favourite rug has officially become a toilet. But why? Is your fluffy little angel actually a tiny demon trying to ruin your life? Did your cat just break? Or are they doing it purely to punish you for being late with their dinner? Don't panic. Today, we are going to dive deep into the furry, mysterious minds of our cats. I promise you, we are going to uncover the absolute secret, true reasons behind this frustrating behaviour, and more importantly, exactly how to solve it once and for all. Before we get started, head down to the comments and tell me, what is the name of your little furry hooligan? Let's get into it. To understand the crime, we first have to understand the criminal. Cats are incredibly complex creatures. On the outside, they look like fierce, independent mini tigers who rule the house and treat us like their personal peasant staff. But on the inside, they are deeply sensitive, highly emotional animals driven by pure instinct. In the wild, a cat is both a stealthy predator and potential prey for larger animals. Because of this, they rely heavily on scent. Scent is their entire world. It is how they communicate, how they establish their territory, and how they comfort themselves when they feel scared. When we take these magnificent, wild creatures and put them in our modern human homes, with our loud televisions, weird air fresheners, and unpredictable schedules, sometimes their hardwiring just completely short-circuits. When a cat feels out of balance, their bathroom habits are usually the very first thing to go wrong. Let's kick things off with the absolute most important reason. Before you accuse your fluffy overlord of declaring biological warfare on your expensive Persian rug, we need to talk about their health. Myth alert! Many people think their cat is just being a stubborn jerk, but often it is a serious medical issue. Cats are absolute masters of disguise, especially when it comes to hiding pain. In the wild, showing weakness means you become someone else's lunch. So if your cat has a urinary tract infection, or UTI, kidney issues, or painful crystals in their bladder, they are going to associate their litter box with terrible pain. Imagine if every time you went to the bathroom, it felt like peeing liquid fire. You would probably avoid the bathroom too. Your cat thinks, hey, maybe if I pee on this soft, plush laundry pile, it won't hurt as much as it does in that plastic box. It breaks your heart when you realise they aren't acting out. They are literally crying out for help in the only way they know how. So, the very first step, before you buy new litter or rearrange your furniture, is a trip to the vet. Yes, the dreaded carrier and the car ride of doom. But getting a clean bill of health is completely non-negotiable. Always rule out the medical stuff first, my fellow cat slaves. Now, assuming the vet gave your little tiger a clean bill of health, let's look at the bathroom itself. Imagine using a public restroom at a gas station that hasn't been cleaned in 3 weeks. You would hold it, right? Or you go find a nice clean bush outside. Well, your cat feels the exact same way about a dirty litter box. Cats are incredibly fastidious creatures. They spend up to half of their waking hours grooming themselves to look absolutely flawless. So, expecting them to step into a box filled with yesterday's stinky business is basically a massive insult to their royal majesty. Some cats are so picky that if there is even one single clump in the box, they will dramatically turn their tail and choose your freshly washed bedsheets instead. You need to be scooping that box at least once a day, preferably twice. And do not forget the deep clean. Every couple of weeks you need to dump all the old litter, scrub the plastic with mild, unscented soap, and dry it completely before refilling. If you think dumping a little extra fresh litter on top of the old smelly stuff is going to fool that sensitive little pink nose, you are dead wrong. They have up to 200 million odour-sensitive cells in their noses. They know your lazy secrets. Keep it pristine, or suffer the wet consequences. Let's move on to the real estate aspect of your cat's bathroom. Location, location, location. Where exactly did you put the litter box? Let me guess. You hid it away in the dark, scary basement next to the loud, rumbling washing machine because you didn't want to look at it. Well, congratulations. You have just created a haunted house for your cat. Cats are both predators and prey. When they are doing their business, they are in a highly vulnerable position. If the washing machine suddenly hits the spin cycle and roars to life right next to them, your cat is going to teleport out of that box and never, ever return. You just gave them a feline heart attack. Or maybe you put the litter box right next to their food and water bowls. Let me ask you this. Do you like eating your dinner in the bathroom? Of course not. And neither does your cat. In the wild, cats eliminate far away from their food and water sources to avoid contamination and to avoid attracting larger predators to their dining area. It is deeply ingrained in their DNA. The ideal spot for a litter box is a quiet, easily accessible area with multiple escape routes. A spare bedroom or a quiet corner of the living room is perfect. Give them a peaceful environment and they will stop seeking out your closet. Okay, let's talk about the actual hardware. What kind of litter box did you buy? Was it one of those fancy, high-tech covered boxes that looks like a spaceship? Or maybe a trendy piece of furniture that completely hides the litter pan inside a fake potted plant? Humans love these because they hide the mess and the smell. But guess who usually hates them? Yep, your furry overlord. Covered litter boxes are a massive trap in the eyes of a cat. Remember what we said about them feeling vulnerable. A covered box has only one exit. If you have a multi-cat household or even a dog, a covered box is the perfect place for an ambush. Imagine trying to use the bathroom while knowing your annoying sibling is waiting right outside the only door to jump on your head. You would find somewhere else to go. Furthermore, covered boxes trap the smells inside. Sure, your living room smells like lavender to you, but inside that plastic dome, it is a toxic gas chamber for your cat's sensitive nose. If it smells terribly bad to them, they simply will not go in. Most cats prefer a large, open, uncovered box, where they have a 360-degree view of their surroundings and can easily escape if the vacuum cleaner suddenly attacks. Trade the spaceship for a simple large tub and watch the magic happen. Have you ever walked barefoot on a gravel driveway? Ouch, right? Now imagine having to dig through that gravel just to use the toilet. The type of litter you are using might be the exact reason your cat is peeing everywhere else. The pet store shelves are absolutely overflowing with different types of litter. Recycled newspaper pellets, sharp silica crystals, pine sawdust, and heavily scented clay. Humans love the scented stuff. We think, oh, Hawaiian breeze. My cat's poop will smell like a tropical vacation. But to your cat, that artificial floral scent is completely overwhelming and unnatural. It burns their nose. They want their territory to smell like them, not like a cheap air freshener. And let's talk about texture. A cat's paw pads are incredibly sensitive. Those big, chunky pine pellets or sharp crystal shards can literally hurt their little toes when they try to dig and cover their business. Evolutionarily, cats are desert animals. They are hardwired to prefer soft, sandy textures that are very easy to dig in. If you suddenly switch from fine sand to big chunky wood pellets, your cat is going to look at you, look at the box, and then go pee on your soft, expensive living room rug. Unscented fine-grained clumping clay is usually the absolute gold standard for a happy feline. So you have got the right box, the right location, and the right unscented sandy litter. But how much are you actually putting in there? Are you just sprinkling a tiny thin layer on the bottom, like you're seasoning a steak? Or are you filling it up to the brim, so it looks like a sandbox at a playground? Both extremes can cause major bathroom boycotts. Let's think about feline instincts again. Cats have a very strong, primal urge to dig a hole, do their business, and then bury it securely. This covers their tracks from predators. If you only put an inch of litter in the box, their claws are going to constantly scrape against the hard, slippery plastic bottom. It feels unnatural, it sounds terrible, and they cannot effectively bury their waste. They will feel completely exposed and unsatisfied. On the flip side, if you fill the box 6 inches deep, it becomes like walking through deep, treacherous snow. They sink in, they lose their balance, and it is a massive effort just to turn around. The golden rule, the sweet spot that makes most cats purr with bathroom satisfaction, is about 3 to 4 inches of litter. It is deep enough to get a good, satisfying dig, but shallow enough that they feel stable and secure on their feet. Get a ruler if you have to, but get that depth right. Now, let us address the multi-cat households. If you have more than one fluffy tyrant running around your house, we need to talk about the golden math rule of litter boxes. It is a very simple equation, n plus 1. N stands for the number of cats you have, so if you have 2 cats, you absolutely need 3 litter boxes. 3 cats, 4 boxes. I can already hear you groaning through the screen, but my apartment is so small, I can't have litter boxes everywhere. I hear you, but your cats do not care about your interior design problems. In the cat world, litter boxes are not just toilets. They are highly prized territorial resources. If you only have 1 box for 3 cats, you are forcing them to share a critical piece of territory. This leads to silent, invisible wars. One dominant cat might physically block the hallway, giving the other cats the evil eye, preventing them from accessing the box. The submissive cat gets stressed, holds it in as long as possible, and finally decides that the corner of the dining room is a much safer option than running the gauntlet. Sharing a toilet with your mortal enemy is stressful. By providing multiple boxes in different areas, you eliminate resource guarding and keep the peace. Is your cat actually peeing, or are they spraying? There is a massive fundamental difference, and it requires a completely different approach to fix. If your cat is squatting down on a horizontal surface, like your bed or the floor, and releasing a large amount of urine, that is normal peeing. But if your cat is backing up to a vertical surface, like a wall, a door frame, or the side of your couch, lifting their tail high, making it quiver like a rattlesnake, and shooting a pungent stream backwards, congratulations, you have a sprayer. Spraying is not a bathroom issue, it is a communication issue. It is the feline equivalent of leaving a giant neon post-it note that says, I was here, this is my turf, and I'm feeling very intense right now. Unneutered males and unspayed females are the biggest culprits because it is highly driven by raging hormones. They are advertising for a mate or aggressively defending their territory. The absolute best, most effective solution for this is to get your cat fixed. Spaying and neutering stops the hormonal drive, to mark in about 90% of cases. If your cat is already fixed and they are still spraying, it means they are feeling deeply insecure about their territory, and we need to investigate what is threatening them. Let's dive deeper into that feline anxiety. Cats are total control freaks. They thrive on routine, predictability, and knowing exactly what to expect every single minute of the day. They love their environment to remain exactly the same forever. So, what happens when you introduce major changes? Maybe you move to a new house, completely remodeled the living room, or even just rearranged the furniture. To you, it is a fresh, new look. To your cat, it is an apocalyptic event. Their entire map of safe zones, scent markers, and sleeping spots has been nuked. This causes massive stress. And how do cats cope with severe stress? They try to make the environment smell like themselves again. And the fastest, most effective way for a cat to spread their scent is, you guessed it, by peeing on things. They aren't doing it to punish you for the ugly new sofa. They are doing it to comfort themselves. They are surrounding themselves with their own familiar odour because it makes them feel safe in a scary, changing world. If you know a big change is coming, you have to help them through it. Use synthetic feline pheromone diffusers, keep their favourite blankets unwashed, and give them plenty of quiet, safe hiding spaces where they can decompress from the chaos. Speaking of major life changes, what about new additions to the family? Did you recently bring home a new puppy, a new kitten, a new romantic partner, or even a brand new human baby? This is prime time for inappropriate urination. Let's look at it from your cat's perspective. They were the centre of the universe, they owned the house, they owned you, and everything was perfectly balanced. Suddenly, this loud, smelly, unpredictable intruder arrives. A new baby brings a cacophony of crying, strange new smells like baby powder. And worst of all, it steals all of your attention. A new partner might sit in the cat's favourite chair or use a strong perfume. Your cat feels displaced, ignored, and highly territorial. Once again, their solution to this insecurity is to mix their scent with the intruder's scent, or to mark the boundaries of their territory. This is why a cat will notoriously pee directly on your new boyfriend's backpack, or right inside the new baby's crib. It is incredibly frustrating, but it is a cry for reassurance. You have to make sure you are still carving out dedicated one-on-one playtime with your original fluffy baby. Give them treats in the presence of the new person, building positive associations rather than jealous resentment. Sometimes the terrifying threat isn't inside the house at all. It is lurking right outside your window. Picture this. Your sweet indoor kitty is sitting on the windowsill, peacefully watching the birds, enjoying the afternoon sunshine. Suddenly, a tough, unneutered neighbourhood tomcat strolls right up to the glass. He puffs up, stares your cat down, and maybe even sprays the bushes right outside the window. Your indoor cat goes into full-blown panic mode. They feel an intense threat to their territory, but because of the glass, they cannot go out there and defend it. They are bursting with adrenaline and territorial aggression with absolutely nowhere to direct it. So what do? They turn around and pee right on the curtains, the carpet under the window, or the nearest piece of furniture. This is called redirected marking. They are creating a scent barrier inside the house because they cannot create one outside. It is a desperate defense mechanism. If you notice your cat suddenly obsessing over a specific window and peeing near it, you need to block their view, close the blinds, put up opaque window film, and use humane deterrents like motion-activated sprinklers to keep those neighbourhood stray cats away from your property. Out of sight, out of mind. Let's talk about negative associations. Cats have incredible memories, especially when it comes to trauma or pain. Let's say a few months ago your cat had a painful urinary tract infection, which we talked about in the very first block. Even after you take them to the vet and the infection is completely cured, the behavioural problem might remain. Why? Because the litter box has become the box of pain. Every time they stepped into that plastic square, it hurt. They associate the physical location and the physical box with that suffering. Even though they are totally healthy now, their brain says, "Nope, I am not going in the torture chamber. I am going to use the nice, soft guest bed instead." The same thing can happen if something scary happens while they are in the box. If a shelf falls off the wall, if the dog corners them, or if you accidentally drop a heavy pot in the kitchen right when they are squatting, that box is officially cursed. To break this negative association, you essentially have to rebrand their bathroom experience. You might need to buy a completely different style of box, use a different type of litter, and move it to a completely new location in the house. You must convince them it is safe again. Here is a huge mistake that almost every single cat owner makes when trying to clean up cat pee. You find a wet spot on the carpet, you panic, and you grab the strongest, most intense chemical cleaner you can find under the sink. You scrub it with bleach, ammonia, or heavy floral carpet shampoos. It smells like a hospital, so the problem is solved, right? Absolutely wrong. In fact, you just made it much worse. Cat urine contains high levels of ammonia. If you clean the spot with an ammonia-based cleaner to your cat's super-powered nose, it literally smells like another animal just came and marked over their spot. It is a direct challenge. Even worse, standard household cleaners do not break down the uric acid crystals in cat pee. They just mask the smell temporarily with heavy perfumes. A few days later, especially if it gets humid, those crystals reactivate and the spot smells like a toilet again to your cat. Because it smells like a toilet, they will keep using it as a toilet. You must, and I mean must, use an enzymatic cleaner. These magical sprays contain live enzymes that literally eat and digest the uric acid crystals, completely destroying the odour at a molecular level. Destroy the smell and you stop the cycle. Let's have a serious talk about discipline. When you walk into the bedroom and discover that your favourite expensive shoes have been turned into a personal feline urinal, your first reaction is probably blinding rage. You want to yell, spray them with a water bottle, or grab them and rub their little pink nose in the mess. Stop right there. Do not ever do this. Punishing a cat for eliminating outside the box is the absolute worst thing you can possibly do. Why? Because cats do not connect your angry punishment with the act of peeing on the shoes 2 hours ago. They simply think, wow, the giant human has gone completely insane and is now a dangerous, unpredictable predator. This utterly destroys the bond of trust between you. Even worse, it skyrockets their stress levels. And what do we already know about cats and stress? High stress equals more peeing outside the box. If you catch them in the absolute exact second they are squatting, you can make a sharp tss sound or clap your hands to distract them, and then gently carry them to the litter box. But if you find the mess after the fact, just take a deep breath, clean it up properly with enzyme spray, and investigate the root cause. Yelling only makes you look crazy. We need to bust one of the biggest, most pervasive myths in the entire history of cat ownership, the myth of spite. How many times have you heard someone say, "My cat was mad at me because I worked a 12-hour shift, so he peed on my pillow purely out of revenge"? It feels so true, right? It feels like a calculated, malicious attack. But I have a secret to tell you. Cats do not have the cognitive brain capacity for revenge. They do not sit in the shadows, stroking their invisible moustaches, plotting ways to ruin your life. Spite requires complex human emotions and forward-thinking malice. Your cat is operating purely on instinct, stress, and association. When you work a long shift, their routine is broken, causing anxiety. They miss you, so they seek out the item that smells the most intensely like you, your pillow, and they mix their scent with yours to comfort themselves. They think they are combining your souls in a beautiful, smelly embrace. It is actually a compliment, albeit a really disgusting one. Stop projecting human flaws onto your innocent little apex predator. Once you let go of the idea that they are doing it on purpose to hurt you, it becomes much easier to fix. Let's expand on that idea of routine. Cats possess an internal biological clock that would make a Swiss watchmaker absolutely jealous. They know exactly when the sun comes up, when the food bowl should magically fill with kibble, when you leave for work, and when the front door should open for your return. They are absolute slaves to their daily schedule. If you suddenly change jobs and start working the night shift, or if you go on vacation and hire a pet sitter who feeds them 2 hours later than usual, you have essentially thrown their world into total chaos. To a cat, predictability equals safety. When things are unpredictable, danger could be lurking anywhere. This low-level chronic anxiety builds up in their little furry bodies. Some cats will overgroom themselves until they are bald. Others will become aggressive, and many will start protesting with their bladder. If you know your schedule is going to change, try to transition your cat slowly. Shift their feeding times by 15 minutes a day, over a week rather than all at once. Use automatic feeders to keep meals consistent, even when you aren't home. The more stable and boring their schedule is, the happier and more reliably they will use their proper bathroom facilities. Believe it or not, despite their aloof, independent, I don't need anybody attitude, many cats suffer from severe separation anxiety. They actually love you. I know, shocking, right? They hide it well behind their judgmental stares and night zoomies. But when their favourite human leaves the house, some cats experience absolute panic. They wander the house, crying, looking for you. When they cannot find you, they instinctively look for things that carry your concentrated scent. What smells more like you than the laundry basket full of dirty gym clothes, or the side of the bed where you sleep? To soothe their intense loneliness and panic, they urinate on these items. It is an instinctual, self-soothing mechanism, wrapping themselves in your scent, mixed with theirs. If your cat only has accidents when you are away on a weekend trip or working unusually long hours, separation anxiety is likely the culprit. You can help them by leaving an unwashed t-shirt in their bed, leaving the radio or TV on softly for background noise, and providing incredibly engaging puzzle toys that dispense treats while you are gone. Keeping their brain occupied and providing scent comfort can prevent the lonely puddles of despair on your clothes. We also have to consider the passage of time. Our beloved fluffy kittens eventually turn into senior citizens. Just like humans, as cats get older, their bodies start to break down. Arthritis is incredibly common in older cats, particularly in their hips, knees, and spine. Now go take a look at your litter box. Does it have high sides? Does it have a top entry hole where the cat has to jump up and drop down inside? For a spry 2-year-old cat, those acrobatic jumps are absolutely nothing. But for a 15-year-old cat with aching, inflamed joints, climbing over a 6-inch plastic wall to go pee is an agonizing chore. It is like asking an 80-year-old human with bad knees to climb a rock wall just to use the toilet. They simply aren't going to do it. Instead, they will find a nice, flat, easily accessible spot on the floor nearby. If you have an older cat, you must accommodate their changing physical needs. Buy a shallow litter box with a very low entry point. You can even use the bottom of a large dog crate or cut a low door into a regular storage tub. Make it as physically easy as possible for them to step inside, and they will happily continue to use it well into their twilight years. Here is a product that human beings absolutely love, but cats universally despise: litter box liners. You know, those thick plastic bags you put inside the box before adding the litter. The marketing says they make cleanup a breeze. Just pull the drawstrings, lift the bag, and throw it all away. No scraping, no washing. It is a dream for the lazy cat owner. But let's view it from the cat's perspective. First of all, the plastic is slippery. When they jump in, their paws slide around, making them feel unstable and unsafe. Secondly, when they try to fulfill their natural instinct to dig and bury their waste, their sharp claws catch on the plastic bag. It snags, it tears, and it creates a terrifying loud rustling noise. Imagine trying to quietly do your business while standing on a giant pile of crinkling potato chip bags. It is startling and deeply unpleasant. On top of that, urine often pools in the folds and creases of the plastic, making it impossible for the cat to bury it properly, leaving a terrible smell. If you are using plastic liners and your cat is avoiding the box, throw the liners in the trash immediately. Go back to bare plastic. Yes, you will have to scoop and scrape, but your carpets will thank you. So you've taken them to the vet, you've bought the perfect low-sided open box, you filled it with 3 inches of unscented clumping clay, and you cleaned up all the old spots with enzyme spray. What now? Now we have to rebuild the habit. If your cat has been peeing on the rug for months, it has become an ingrained behaviour. You need to actively retrain them, just like a tiny kitten. Start by restricting their territory. Keep them in a smaller, safe room, like a bathroom or a spare bedroom, with their food, water, and the perfect new litter box set up. They naturally will not want to pee near their food, so the box becomes the only logical choice. When you see them use the box correctly, throw a massive party, praise them in a soft, happy voice, and immediately give them their absolute favourite, high-value treat. Boiled chicken, freeze-dried shrimp, whatever makes them go crazy. You are creating a powerful new association. Using this sandy box means I get the best snacks in the world. Slowly, over weeks, allow them access to the rest of the house under supervision. If you catch them sniffing their old favourite carpet spot, gently interrupt and carry them to the box. With patience, you can completely fix this. And there you have it, my fellow cat slaves. Now you know exactly what is going on inside that beautiful fluffy head of theirs. Remember, when your cat pees outside the box, they are not broken and they are definitely not doing it to be mean. Whether it is a hidden health issue, a stressful change in the environment, or just a really stinky litter box, it is always a cry for help. It is up to us to be the detectives and fix their environment. Because at the end of the day, even when they ruin our favourite shoes or keep us up with 3 a.m. zoomies, we still absolutely adore these little furry tyrants. If this video helped you solve your feline mysteries, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more perfect content, and share this video with another cat parent who might be struggling with a soggy carpet. Now, I want to hear from you. Did you discover what was causing your cat's accidents? Was it a dirty box or a neighbourhood stray? Drop your stories in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.